Hey guys, how's it going? For anyone used to working on these cars, these are the Pulsars, 90s Pulsars. You'll be quite aware that there is no fuel tank drain on the actual fuel tank itself, and that draining the fuel tank can be a bit of a pain in the ass. In my opinion, the easiest way to get the fuel out is to just turn the pump on. But I couldn't really find anybody that documented the process properly, so mind the dodginess that you can see around here, but I'll just walk you through what's happened. So just over here, that's where the fuel pump relay usually is. As you can see, I've got my multimeter probe in there. I've also got an alligator clip hooked up to an eyelet fitting. Basically, I've folded in half and jammed in there. When doing all this, it's a good idea to test the resistance of the connections and just make sure it's all relatively good. Mine we're testing at about 76, around 80 ohms, and that's with nothing. Obviously, there's no battery, so nothing connected, no power otherwise. For those of us in Australia, I've been using this thing. It's quite handy. You get it from J-Car, $30, and it's basically one big alligator clip lead with 3 clips on it, and you pull it out either way. Quite handy. So I've got my positive hooked up here. Now note the pin it's plugged into. So the top left pin is your trigger pin, and that runs to the ECU. So the ECU switches a ground, which allows current to flow through, which then allows your power circuit on the right 2 pins there to complete. This is your electric source there, just there, to trigger it. Now in this case, it's the same source feeds both this signal and the actual power feed for the fuel pump as well, which was handy to know, because that way I was able to figure out that since my ECU is not plugged in, the top left pin is the only one that I didn't get any ground on, or any continuity on through the multimeter. So I've just got my ground hooked up to exhaust manifold bolt. It was getting decent ground, and as you can see, I've jammed the probe in there as well. And just as a temporary thing, I've just used random silicone hose just to get feed long enough to go out to my little fuel tank here. And as you can see, it's off at the moment, but there's still pressure in the system from the few seconds that I've had it turned on. So probably all, yes, and don't mind the heavy breathing. I've had to actually try and pull this hose off, and I actually had to cut it because of how strong it is. It's a little difficult to get that off since ours used the metric fittings, and that's a imperial hose. And just to show you as well, this is just running back to a jump starter. So you can see the clips, ground's running up to the off to the exhaust manifold, and that positive is running straight into that pin on the relay socket. Yeah, so that is how you drain it. I'll turn it on for you quickly. So as you can see, we've got volts. This is probably going to overflow pretty quick. As you can see, we're just pissing out fuel here. I'm going to turn that off quick because it's going to overflow. But not a massive deal. Yeah, so if you guys ever need to empty your fuel tank, this is how to do it. Keep in mind that if you suspect that there's a lot of dirt in there, you should actually physically inspect it, because you don't want to pump all of that shit into your fuel filter and your fuel pump and God knows what else. But as you can see, there was actually getting a fairly decent flow there, and the fuel looked a bit discoloured, but that's about it. So yeah, happy days. Thanks guys.